Oh no.
Hello, Wiki Peeps. It's not a live cast unless there's a technical issue somewhere. I'm Mags Golden. Today we are joined with his regular usual person, Julie Ricketts, hanging out in our chat room, watching and listening to your questions and posting them. And our guest this week is the forest elf herself, Eowyn Langholf. Hey, Eowyn.
Hi, Mags.
How are you this beautiful day?
I couldn't be better. How are you?
I'm good. Julie, you want to say hi to Eowyn? Or
hi, Eowyn. I haven't seen you for ages.
It's been a long time.
Yeah. We never see each other, so yeah. Today we're talking about the Ranger Project on WikiTree. And the Ranger Project is one of the most important projects. It's a functional project, meaning that there are a lot of people who volunteer, who work, who spend time with the project. And instead of me talking about all of that, I'm going to get Eowyn to. So Eowyn, you want to give us a rundown on what the Ranger Project is?
So basically, there's a whole lot of things going on WikiTree at any given time. And for the most part, they're really great things. And our volunteers are awesome and they contribute and it's marvelous. And we love them. But every now and then, we've had, unfortunately, someone come along who's tried to vandalize the site, which is not good, and it can happen quickly, and it can get destructive kind of fast. And so, unfortunately, a few years ago, we had a couple kind of serious ones, and so we were trying to decide what we could do to kind of watch for that and prevent it, and out of that came the Rangers Project, which is a special group of members who watch different feeds and watch for different things and try to catch any potential problems before they get to it.
Okay, great. So the Rangers are really that. What's that?
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing at me?
Because you are a funny person, Eowyn. And if you haven't figured that out, Eowyn and Julie and I laugh a lot when we spend time together, and because of WikiTree, we spend a lot of time together. So I can poke fun and. What's that, Eowyn?
Carry on.
All right, and Eowyn is obviously going to give me a hard time today, so that's fine. What discovery brought you to WikiTree, Eowyn?
It was Google. I just found it in a Google search in 2012, and I was kind of really getting into genealogy more then. And so there were a bunch of sites I was kind of trying around then, and I WikiTree, but I was one of those people who uploaded like 8,000 people in a DEDCOM because I didn't know any better. I apologize. They're still unsourced and out there. Sorry. I'm working on it.
You paid your penance since then because you have been the queen of JEDCOMs for WikiTree for a very long time.
Yeah, that was payback for sure for that. But I came around in 2012 and I didn't really understand what it was. And so about a year later, I was updating some of my trees and I remembered WikiTree for some reason, and I came back and there had been a lot of changes and there was more community involvement, and WikiTree kind of clicked for me. I think everybody kind of has an aha WikiTree moment, and that was mine in 2013.
So the community is really a big part of WikiTree for you then?
The community is everything about WikiTree, I think, for sure.
Good.
But for me, absolutely.
When the need for the Rangers Project came around, you were probably a likely candidate for the leader position because you are also a team member. Did being on the team be a part of what it was that made you want to be the Ranger leader? Were you kind of picked, or was it something you felt so strongly about that you thought that being a leader of the Ranger Project was something that was just so much something you wanted to do?
I feel very strongly about the Rangers. I think, well, I know because I lead them, that we've been able to catch quite a few, and not even just vandals, but just accidental errors that could lead to bigger problems. I doubt, how much is actually caught by the rangers who are watching the feed. And so I did volunteer to lead it when we started doing it, and I think we've been doing it for about 3 years now.
Yeah, I would say that. So what are the basic requirements for somebody for becoming a ranger?
So we have a few. Hold on, I'm going to look so I can make sure I get it right. So at least 3 months on WikiTree. And then we added a minimum of 1,000 contributions because you kind of need to have a good understanding of how things work on WikiTree so that you know what to watch for.
Right.
When you're feeds. Membership in one or more projects. Hey, I can read it here. 1 hour to spare on the same day most weeks. We do a schedule. So rangers volunteer for an hour, or most of them do more, but for an hour. And then we just kind of expect you to be there for whatever that time slot is you volunteered for. An active and friendly presence on the G2G. Sometimes the rangers interact with members, and especially newer members. So we just want to check and make sure that they're going to be nice.
Gotcha.
And then just one thing is just not to have have one of the referral badges and just not have had one within the last 3 months.
All right. So people who've been helped by the rangers also become rangers.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a couple of them who had maybe a little bit of a rocky start and then like turned around into really awesome WikiTreeers, and now they help rangers. So.
Hey, Eowyn, do you happen to
ma'am.
have your laptop volume up loud?
No.
Okay,
Do you want me to turn it down more though?
Yeah, we're getting some feedback.
One moment, please.
Thank you, Eowyn. So while Eowyn does that, so I'm a ranger as well, and I find rangering very fun to do, because not only do you find people that are making mistakes like what Eowyn was talking about, or you happen upon somebody who's trying to do something malicious, you also get to watch people do a lot of really good stuff. And so
yeah.
when I'm watching the feed and I see people doing really good stuff, I spend a lot of time thanking people for what they've done, for good merges, or even sometimes people do some things that I was like, oh, wow, I hadn't thought about that. So rangering is not all about finding the bad or looking for the bad. It's finding the honest mistakes and also finding the good and thanking people.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we really encourage the rangers to do is to, because we always want to focus on the positive. So we definitely encourage them to thank when they see good things going on. And like you said, it's a good way to kind of spot good things and things people are doing and good ideas. And so.
I do a rangering stint once a week too, and I always enjoy the times when I see somebody, like maybe if they're struggling with something, and I can pop out there and say, hey, do you need help with that? Because I can, I'm right here and I can help you with that. And I've had some really neat interactions with people through that process.
Well, and also in the process, there are technical issues that might happen with WikiTree. A lot of times doing greeter time, if there's a hiccup in the system or something, the greeters will often see it first because the greeters are looking at stuff that's happening, bam, 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 bam. And if all of a sudden it's not going bam, 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 it's going really, really slow, they'll notice something and they'll be able to identify it and get a note to the team so that it can get fixed. So that's another thing that the rangers also look for, because they're also watching feeds that should be scrolling at a certain amount, or, if people are doing stuff. So they can also do it. And one thing that's really huge about the rangers, Eowyn, aren't the rangers' hours like 24/7, 365?
24/7, 365. And they're, I love our greeters and I love our rangers because they are just on it and they're there when they're supposed to be. And if they can't make it, they find someone to cover it. And they're very diligent about protecting our tree.
And
which is awesome.
it is awesome. It's very awesome. When the Rangers project first started up, the idea was to have all of these different teams. So there's a Wednesday Watchdog, the Friday Eagles, the Saturday Shamrocks, the Sunday Sun Bears, the Monday Monitors, and my favorite, the Tuesday Ardennaires. Ardennaire is the forest from one of the Shakespeare's plays. So the teams aren't as big a thing as they were originally, but it's still set up by teams. And so for me, Tuesday is my team, and I lead that team. So if there's questions, I try and recruit people for Tuesdays. Other people that have other days, other leaders that have other days, work on those days and try and get those things, even though they may not work only on that day. Which team are you on, Eowyn?
I'm on all of them because I lead the great project.
Okay. Is there a specific?
In other words, I don't actually have a ranger shift, so I don't have a ranger day. Although when we first started them, I led the Friday Eagles.
Okay. What is your day, Julie?
I'm a Thor. I'm a Thor's Daisy.
Thor's Daisy.
Thor's Daisy.
It was really cute when everybody was trying to think up names for their day.
It was fun.
It was fun.
So instructions for the Rangers. What do Rangers do? I know we mentioned briefly that they watch the feeds, but what do they do?
There's several different feeds that they watch. When we have a member who is kind of having a difficulty with some of the aspects of WikiTree, sometimes they have a yellow badge, which means they're working with one of our mentors, kind of a little more one-on-one than other people might be. And then we also, if someone's kind of somebody that we need to keep an eye on, that we're worried about, they have a red badge. So the Rangers, we have separate feeds for those, so Rangers can keep an eye on that and just make sure nothing that we need to kind of catch is happening there. We have a merge activity feed where it's just every merge that's happening. So merges are important because it's one of the easiest ways to be destructive on WikiTree. If you start merging, two profiles that are very much not the same, then you create a lot of problems really fast. And so we have that feed specifically for merges so they can kind of watch that more specifically. We also have a feed where you can see everything that's happening on WikiTree. And then they
pre-1500
with the greeters and maybe watch for new volunteers, but not so much now because we have a lot of greeters who stay on top of that. So they're kind of watching those things. When there's a problem, we have processes for different problems to make us aware of it. And so it's their job to kind of bring attention to whatever is going on so we can handle it.
And speaking of
question,
what's that?
Roz wants to know if there's one day or maybe 1 or 2 days in particular that need more Rangers.
Tuesday needs
Tuesday. Hang on, I'll look.
Okay.
So
she can get in touch with you too.
Yeah. I'll
let you know, Rob.
Yes, and I pulled up the problems with members process, which is a huge part of the Rangers project, in that mentors, Rangers, leaders, team members, regular WikiTreeers use this process for members that there might be a problem with. And Eowyn, I thought you might want to walk us through it a little bit, and we could talk about what somebody would do if somebody's having a particular issue with problems on WikiTree with another member or something.
Yeah, I would love to. I would just like to say that anytime there's any kind of issue with another member, whatever it is, you should always come to the problems with members page. This is where we encourage you to start. We put a lot of time into writing out this process, and I think it really works. If you come here and you go through the steps, you'll get to the right place to handle whatever the situation is. You'll be able to handle it correctly or get it to someone who can handle it correctly. And so we really emphasize coming here anytime there's a problem. Posting in the G2G is okay, but it doesn't really start any kind of process. So this is where people would want to come. Do you want to just kind of scroll down as we go?
Sure.
So the first question is it someone who's spamming or is it a vandal? If it is, then like it says, you can go to the page on emergency blocks and it'll tell you how to contact someone so we can deal with it right away. So anytime you think it's an emergency situation, that's where you would go.
And what would qualify as an emergency, Eowyn?
If somebody is doing inappropriate merges, like if they're merging John Smith and Juan Garcia, like two completely different people, if you see that happening. If someone's creating a lot of duplicates rapidly, if somebody is deleting information, like if somebody's just wiping biographies or something on profiles, those would all be what we would consider emergencies. Anything that's doing rapid damage that's going to be hard to go back in and fix, we want to stop as soon as we can.
And let me ask you this. Sometimes when someone is doing something not malicious, but they're working very quickly to do, like they're entering a bunch of profiles with no sources and no information, and they're doing it like 3 a minute. Is that something that would trigger a ranger to say, wait, you need to stop this?
And in fact, probably the most common thing that's brought to our attention by rangers is when somebody is creating a lot of profiles rapidly without sources. And while it's not necessarily what we would call an emergency, it's something that we do try to step in pretty quick and get them adding sources. So, but that's probably the thing that we end up handling the most.
Right, and that goes along with what WikiTree style they use, whether they enter in a few, go back and work on sources, enter in a few more, work on sources, or they're trying to enter in a whole bunch and then go back and add a source to each one. So that's kind of like a gentle area.
Yeah, with sourcing, it's more about education, because generally people who are doing that, they just don't really understand WikiTree yet, because they're usually pretty new. And so rather than just kind of come crashing down on them and yell at them for not sourcing, it's kind of a good opportunity for us to step in and educate and try and get them going in the right direction, because we want everybody to be successful on WikiTree. So anytime we have an opportunity where we can teach, that's the direction we want to go.
Right. We want everybody to be successful, and we want our tree to be healthy.
Yep, exactly.
So back to question number 1, is this person a spammer or a vandal? And we covered emergency blocks. But if they're not a spammer or a juvenile delinquent, proceed to question number 2.
Yeah, so a lot of times people find that their personal privacy has been violated. Like there might be something that someone put in a biography section that they don't want. So if that were you in this case, you would go to see privacy conflicts, which it's kind of a whole separate thing. I don't know that we need to go into all that right now, but
right.
And then if not, we do a privacy takedown request. So if somebody has a profile in WikiTree that say like their family member started, they can do the privacy takedown request. And if it's for them or someone that they have legal guardianship over, we handle that.
Gotcha. So you shouldn't be putting a child's information up unless they've passed. And the new 150-100 rule went into effect.
Yeah.
So that is easy. So to be no, what if the answer is no? We proceed.
Go to step 3.
Go to step 3. Is this an emergency?
Yeah, so this kind of covers, I think what I was just saying is, if it's an emergency, is it something that's happening right now? Is it somebody who made some duplicates, but it was 7 days ago? That's not necessarily an emergency because they're not doing it right now. You still want to make us aware of it. But emergencies are kind of things where they're doing it in that moment, where we just want to stop them before it gets too far, because it'll be hard to fix later. So we want to not let them go too long on those things.
So yes or no? Question 4, has this behavior upset you?
So this is important because we say don't WikiTree while angry. So if you're angry, somebody's done something and you come here, like this will help you to not respond to them in an angry way. So Basically, like if you're upset, we say go away, like take a break, and then come back later.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, stop, drop, and roll, and then come back. And in 4A1, you can see if you come back and you're still upset, then it says, you know, you really shouldn't deal with this by yourself. File what we call a mentor intervention request, and then what that does is it lets a mentor or a ranger or a leader or a team member, kind of depending on the situation, kind of step in and kind of facilitate the situation and try to mediate if necessary and resolve it.
Because if you are not completely calm, you're not the best person to be talking to the person that has upset you in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and we do that as leaders and mentors and team members. Everybody can fill out an MMIR, mentor intervention request. So it's not a leader, a ranger, or a mentor. It's everybody that can fill these out. And if you find that they're really making you angry, mentors and team members, if they find many MIRs and that there's a pattern happening, and even if they're good genealogists with good intentions, if they're incapable of getting the collaborative idea of WikiTree, and they can't work on WikiTree without making others angry, it may eventually escalate in having their account closed. And courtesy, I love this line, courtesy is not optional on WikiTree. It's in our honor code.
Yep.
And sometimes we see an inverse pattern. Some members are repeatedly made angry by others. And it takes a special person.
It's just something we kind of notice. Sometimes if people are repeatedly submitting the intervention requests about other people, sometimes we have to kind of take a look at them and just see maybe they need to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
Take a step back. So it's kind of a nice checks and balances, I think.
Yeah. And if you're angry, you should take a step back. You know, take a step back, scale back. If the answer is no to 4 and you're feeling relaxed, proceed to question number 5. Can you assume this person has good intentions?
So yeah, so in our honor code, we say we assume that mistakes are unintentional. So you want to think about it and think, is this just someone who's new? Is this someone who's just having a hard time? Or is this someone who's intentionally trying to cause a problem? So like you can see, if you can say yes, then you keep going. If you cannot assume good intentions, if you feel like someone's knowingly violating the honor code, or if they don't agree with our mission, then again, you want to do the mentor intervention request so that one of the mentors or a leader can kind of step in and hopefully get them going in the right direction.
And this is my favorite part of the whole problems with members process, is have you contacted the person about the problem?
Yeah, so if you have and they replied to you, then that's great. Hopefully they replied nicely. If they didn't reply, it'll take you down to other steps. If they haven't replied and they seem not to be active on WikiTree, we have the unresponsive profile managers for that. And that's the beautiful thing about this process, is if you come here and go through the steps like we've been doing, you're going to know exactly where to go to resolve it. Like you might get to here and say, well, they're not active, I'll do the unresponsive profile manager. Or you might get here and say, hey, they're not responding, they're still doing it. Maybe they didn't get my message, maybe they did. Maybe I need to do a mentor intervention request. But if you go through the steps, it's going to direct you to the best way to resolve it. So if they reply to you and they're angry, if they're hostile, you don't have to deal with that. That's why we're here, is to help intervene and to help facilitate and mediate. So like it says on the page where Mags is highlighting, somebody needs to tell them to not WikiTree angry, and it doesn't need to be you. Like this is why we're here, is to help keep WikiTree, a courteous and respectful place. So if they disagreed, that's the next step. you want to find something to show them, like a G2G page or a help page or a style page that you can point to and say, hey, actually here, this is what our policy is. And again, if you can do it patiently or calmly and assuming good intentions, then contact them yourself. And if you can't, then do the mentor intervention request and we will help with that.
And also to help with disputes, you can ask a question in G2G specifically, and you want to try and find the question in the conflict. What is the basic question in a conflict? Sometimes people get arguing back and forth, and you have trouble following it. Find out what the kernel is to the whole part of the cob of corn, the whole argument.
And if you're going to post something in G2G about the problem, it's best not to call people out.
Yeah.
Right.
A general conversation going about the issue. You don't have to mention people's names.
Right.
Yeah, please don't mention people's names.
Yeah, and be polite. Be polite. And that's a part of finding the question in a conflict. If you find what the reason is for the problem, it's going to be a genealogical question, which really doesn't have to do anything with anybody personally. It's going to be about,
or it's a style question, or it's a policy question.
Right. It's not a personal thing. The conflicts always go back to what the start of the conflict was, what the antecedent was.
Yep.
And then if you can't do it patiently and calmly, and you are assuming good intentions, contact them again. And if you can't do it yourself, again, file a mentor intervention request. And if it is no, Eowyn.
This is my favorite one, and hopefully most of us would get to this one because we've come back and we're not angry anymore. But if you can get to here and you care about the problem, it's not an emergency, you're not angry, and you assume they have good intentions, please feel free to contact them and in a friendly way try to help them be successful on WikiTree. It's, our members are really great for the most part about helping other members find their way, which is one of the things I love so much about WikiTree is for the most part, it's, we want people to succeed. It's not just me that wants people to succeed. Most of us, I think, want to help. So if you feel like you can, please do.
And 6B1, can you correct their mistakes delicately?
Yeah, if you can't do it friendly or courteously or delicately, don't.
Don't.
Was that Julie?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can see the links there. We have pages with tips on how to be courteous and how to try to resolve a disagreement. And again, you can ask for advice in the G2G. But if you don't have time to choose your words carefully, you can wait until you do. If you can't do it, then please just instead do a mentor intervention request so that we can help facilitate that.
And then the last statement goes back to if somebody's filing a lot of mentor intervention requests, if you find you're consistently unable or uninterested in writing delicately worded messages, consider scaling back your participation, taking a break and then coming back to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Chris, our WikiTree in chief, he says it often, and he says WikiTree should be a fun place. If it's not a fun place for you, then yeah, take a break for a little bit and come back and then enjoy it again.
We have a question.
Please do ask.
I got to find it. I lost the highlight. Marty was just wondering how often do rangers find trouble when they're on the feeds, and because he doesn't feel like he's finding enough.
So the good thing about WikiTree really is we don't have emergency problems very often. It's very rare. And this is going to make me sound really conceited, and I don't mean it in a conceited way, but I've been doing this for a long time, and so generally, if a ranger brings a problem to our attention, Abby or Julie and I and the other team members, we can usually tell pretty quickly. Like there's certain, we've had members who just kind of keep coming back every so often and try to kind of sneak in, and we've just been watching for long enough that we can catch it pretty fast. So Marty, it's perfectly great that you haven't seen a lot of emergency things because they really don't happen that often, but when they do, we're able to catch them pretty quickly. And so like I was kind of saying earlier, it's usually about people and their sourcing, which again, we don't call it an emergency, but we do try to kind of step in and steer them, you know, in the right direction because it's part of our honor code.
I always, when I find a person who's not, you know, who's like making a bunch of stuff and they're not adding sources, I always like to remind them or point out that they want to stop and get caught up so that they don't find themselves in a big hole.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Marty, to what Eowyn said, I always tell the Tuesday Rangers or anybody that asks me, when you're rangering, you're not looking to nitpick. You're looking for the big problems. You're looking for the big explosions. So if a bomb doesn't go off, spend a lot of your time thanking people for the good work that they are doing.
When there's far more to thank people for than there is to.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I should have an award because I think I've probably given out more thank yous than anyone else. Does that sound conceited, my humble friend Eowyn? Just a little bit. Do you?
No, I'm the best WikiTreeer.
You're the best WikiTreeer?
It's me.
No, it's me. It's me. What is the most asked question in G2G about the Rangers project?
You know, kind of the nice thing is they're not really mentioned there anymore. When we first started the project, it kind of reminds me a little bit of where we're at with the data doctors right now. There's kind of, and especially with these functional projects, there always seems to kind of be this adjustment period where kinks are being worked out and people are kind of getting used to it. So when we first started the Rangers, there was kind of some misunderstanding about what their focus was. And so there was a lot of, you know, kind of rants in the G2G about policing and rangering and things like that. But we've really been able to fine tune the project and focus on the bigger issues. And so really doesn't come up there. If anything comes up, it's usually someone who's trying to bring awareness to an issue that they see. In which case, I would tell them to go to the problem with members page.
Yep, that's the answer to a lot of questions. It's like a real forest ranger. We're looking around to make sure that there aren't any forest fires out there to be put out. And thankfully, there aren't a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, actually.
So what kind of projects do you get involved in outside of WikiTree?
There's an outside of WikiTree.
Yeah.
No, actually, I do. I really do have a life outside WikiTree. It's weird, but I do. I love to garden, so I just planted my garden yesterday. And I recently got into cooking, so I've been doing a lot of cooking. And I love to road trip. That's my favorite thing. So I've been known to just hop in a car and go. So I don't know if I'd make it all the way to Canada, but I might make it to Illinois where Julie is. So,
but you could pick Julie up and then drive on up. It's on the way.
I can just show up at anyone's house at any given time. You just never know.
Give me 24 hours.
So
I know you don't have your passport current, so I don't have any real worries.
Mm-hmm.
Have you taken care of that yet?
But if I did have it, huh?
Have you gotten that taken care of?
If I did have it current. If I did, I wouldn't tell you because I would want to surprise you.
And Eowyn only wants
to never know.
Eowyn only wants to ever surprise me in my 2-week get away from the world trip to the cottage every summer. She's always like, I'm going to come. And I'm like, you can't find me. I'm in the Canadian Shield way out somewhere.
It's going to happen some year.
Yeah. So gardening, I hear there's a very, very special dude in your life.
I do. I have a dude. I don't think you can see him. Oh, you can. Look.
Actually, he scared Roz a few minutes ago.
I'm sorry. This is dude. He's loud, but he's really just a big baby.
That's our Genia pet for the day. Julie would show us Casey, but Casey's just on the floor knocked out.
She's sacked out right at my feet.
And mine is hogging the fireplace. Okay, so Eowyn, this is a really stupid question to ask you, but what's your favorite color?
Green.
Yeah.
Of course it's orange. I'll be honest, like the first year we did Youth Tech and Chris told me that we had to wear the orange shirts like what you're wearing, I was really sad because I didn't like orange, not that color especially, but we're known for our orange. Like people see orange and they think WikiTree, so of course I love orange.
She's talking about the burnt orange.
Yep.
Not the bright orange that she's wearing or that Julie is wearing.
This
Yeah.
And I do have one of those shirts too. So Julie, do we have any questions from the chat gallery or?
We had one from Emma. She wanted to know, Eowyn, if you search for genealogy records while you're road tripping.
Yes, sometimes I do. I'm actually pretty excited because I'm going to detour off topic for a second here, but
go for it.
I'm adopted, and I just, through DNA testing, I found my aunt on my biological father's side, and so I've been able to do a lot of research where I just had this big empty tree, and it turns out his family has been in New Mexico since the 1500s, and so I have a lot of places just around here where I can go and see graves and tombstones and look at records, and so I'm plotting out my New Mexico genealogy road trip.
That sounds like fun. I want to come and do that. And
Yeah.
my passport is current.
Yeah, you need that to get to New Mexico. We're not a state.
Oh, funny. Any other questions there, Julie?
No.
No. Okay. Getting on to a little bit of our numbers information. I'm going to screen share our WikiTree front page, our beautiful WikiTree front page. And you will see that our numbers, we are growing our numbers, 13,803,444 profiles. 13,803,444 profiles have been edited by 415,511 genealogists from around the world. I love reading those numbers every Saturday because it's so fun to see how we're growing. And profile of the week is Napoleon Bonaparte. And our beautiful photo of the week is Albert and Olive Budd on their homestead. I love how she's sitting on an oxen. Is that an oxen or it has to be an oxen?
They're steer.
A connection of the month is Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the rest creator Charles Schultz. And meet our members for this week is me. How about that?
How about that?
Because I'm one of the most generous and active, one of the most beloved and best live cast host ever in the world.
Julie?
That's a little awkward to read that about yourself, isn't
it? Currently, I'm involved in the First Peoples Project, and Eowyn found this great picture of me at Roots Tech, being myself. That's what I look like at Roots Tech.
Actually, Chris put that there for you.
Chris did that. He's so cute, Chris.
Sorry.
That's okay. And the top family names from yesterday: Marshall Powys. Powys is Welsh. And then Moore, Wood, Kilmer, Gale, Jones, Fowler, DeFeater, and Seddon are top 10, which takes us right into Miss Julie Ricketts. And question of the week: what is the funniest transcription mistake you've ever seen?
Well, okay. I spent a little time. I put my poet hat on, and I took as many of the funny transcription things and turned it into a poem for you guys.
Oh, funny.
Oh, let's see how this goes. This is hard for me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
A sojourner named James left his home near the Thames and spent a short time in Kentucky. We might find him again if he journeys back home, if only we could be so lucky. I looked for Malcolm and I found Maybalm. I think Henriette is now Harrielle. With the slip of a pen, poor Ari became Arse. I think I'm in genealogy hell, where B's come P's and L's become T's. and you can't find your crab apples in Shillington. The French take to the skies with some alien guys and go to marry in England. They carried our ancestors from Somerset to Somalia and Bohemia from the Bahamas. Dear great-great-grandfather, where could you be? And for crying out loud, where's your mama? The transcriptionists taunt, the enumerators haunt. Line left for dwelling unit, but already enumerated? I don't know how to tell if the census is right. The relationship just isn't stated. Ah, here's a clue. You were a shaman. No, wait, that's a seaman. Or were you a gunner? RA? Royal Air Force? No, maybe Rearsby allotments. Oh, what does it say? Was the family next door really named Niece? Did they have a daughter named Stepson? Maybe someday we'll figure this out and knock those brick walls down. The hunt continues. We'll never give up. Does anyone know how to find Waffletown?
That is great, Julia. I'm hand clapping for you. That's great. Are you going to post that as an answer to the question?
Yeah, I will.
That's great. I love it. Love it. Love it. Moving on, Grandma, do you have any other G2G posts that we need to look at or discuss?
Me?
Yes,
No,
you.
I'm done. Okay. I've talked to them.
Grandma's Jeans WikiTree tip of the week for everybody. Who's in the hood? Always check the entries for a page before or so, or after your target entry in census records, because you might find family members or people who married into your family. You may find those names. So go a few pages back and a few pages forward in your census records to see who actually lived in the hood of your ancestor. The Saturday sourcing sprints. Let me see. We got, here we go. The Saturday sourcing sprint numbers, I'll pull them up. If you are participating in the Saturday sourcing sprints, then you will enjoy hearing your numbers read out. Janine Barber for April has 17. Amanda Frank has 6. Janet Gunn, 5. Roz, yay, Roz.
Yay, Roz.
Debbie Hogue is up to 6. Robert Hvitfeldt is up to 14. Eddie Kahotek is at 5. Tracy Leighton is at 1. John Noel close behind Roz there at 100. Lucy Salvaggio Diaz is still at 5. Liz Shiflett at 8. Charlotte Shockey is at 53. Boy, you're falling way behind, Charlotte. What's up with that? John Sussner is at 1. For a total so far in April, 323. Awesome. Yay for all of our Saturday sorcerers.
Very cool.
Moving on to the Connectors Project. We've got Connectors Unite. So for the Connectors Project, our top person so far, is it Carol Keeling? Is it Bob Kinniston? Oh, nope, it's Charlotte Smith with 259, followed closely behind at 164 by Greg Slade.
Wow.
Yeah, great job, guys. He's the third one there. It's going to be Ellen Smith, I believe, in third place. You guys go. You're doing a great job. And we are back. One thing that I wanted to check in about, and I'm going to screen share here again, and Eowyn, you can tell us more, and Julie as well, about the spring clean that we've got coming up, the spring clean-a-thon.
We're really excited about this. We did the Source-a-thon in October, and it was awesome, and it was a really fun 3 days where the community kind of really came together and worked on sourcing. And so we thought, actually, Laura, I hope it's Bose, because it suggested the idea in the G2G a while back, and we kind of ran with it. So thanks to Laura for that. But it's going to be April 22nd to the 24th, and it's a spring clean-a-thon. And basically, The idea is to clear out as many of the errors from the database errors reports as we can. So there's several teams that have formed that are focusing on different types of errors or different locations. I think we're up to 11 teams, 10 or 11 teams. You can see Max has it up there. There's some that are project specific or country specific.
That would be 13 teams.
Yeah, there's one that there's going to be a find a grave one. Those are the cobweb catchers. So there's some that are focusing on just specific error types. So we've had about 200 people sign up to participate, which is really exciting. And we're going to have hangouts going like we did during the Sourceathon with the 3 of us and some other people who have volunteered to join in. And there's going to be a special WikiTree Spring Cleanathon 2017 t-shirts that are given out as prizes.
No,
So
no,
it's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited.
no. I have the grand prize right here.
Oh, don't you offer that unless you're willing to give it up.
I'm telling you, it's right here. It's right here for whoever does the most.
She'll never send it. She promised it to me like 7 months ago.
That's such a
That would
lot.
cost like $300 to ship from Canada.
So whoever does the most cleaning, see, I can't even get it to fit my screen, my camera. I have to move way back here. There we go. Toblerone. That's not true. I lied. So, back to.
And let me say this. Hold on. Let me say this. Alesh, our team member, he has figured out how to do automated tracking. So that means that we don't have to sit and count for 72 hours because he has automated it. So we'll be able to see like real time, pretty close to real time, what's happening.
Oh my word, look at this.
During the cleanathon. It's very cool. Alesh is amazing.
So when we with Julie and Eowyn and I are going to be doing hangouts like we did for the Sourceathon. So
every 4 hours, not 2.
Every 4 hours, not every 2 hours. But I still don't think that being awake every 4 hours for 72 hours is healthy, nor is it good for WikiTree. But it is good for WikiTree in that Julie and Eowyn and I, by the end of the 72 hours, are going to be so punch drunk that it's going to be pretty funny watching us trying to stay awake and attempt to read the numbers off. But that'll be so much fun. We won't have to try to figure out all the teams and the numbers and stuff. Thank you, Elish. You're my favorite. Don't tell the rest of the team. Oh, and badges. The winners get cool looking little badges too.
Yeah, Chris
wants a sneak preview of the t-shirts. I don't think we should show her yet.
Well, don't these t-shirt, you talking to me? You talking to me?
What?
Aren't the t-shirts going to have this logo on them? Hold on just a second. Aren't the t-shirts going to have something like this that Chris did?
Something like that, yes.
Something like that. Something like these cool WikiTree, WikiPeeps.
Isn't that the most adorable logo ever?
That is just cute. I want one. I want a t-shirt. So I have to get in there and do some error cleaning. I actually went through my error report the other day.
Hey, Mads.
Yes.
Are you on a team yet?
I was gonna join the Dust Bunnies, but I have to look and see if they are doing what I'm interested in.
We're doing the 900 errors.
The 900 unconnected profiles errors.
There are ones where there's nothing but a name.
Yeah, I want to make a team that is the Mags team and just have everybody clean up my errors.
Hey.
Go ahead, Julie.
We've had a couple of people volunteered for that focus.
On my errors? That's so sweet of
No,
you.
not yours, others, but that's okay. You could take a look at mine too. I need help.
No, they're only going to do mine, Julie. They're not going to do yours.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Yay.
How are we going to pick the winners for the t-shirts?
I'm going to. It's going to be all of my favorite people. So whoever I like the most gets a T-shirt.
That's so exactly not what we're doing. So we have a spreadsheet with all the participants in it, so you have a number by your name. So we'll do the random drawings like we did for the Sourceathon, and we'll announce them during the Hangouts, and then we'll post them in the G2G, and you'll have the 4 hours to claim your T-shirt. Otherwise, your name goes back into the drawing. So
a lot like what we did on the Sourceathon then.
Basically exactly like what we did in the Sourceathon.
And I can't pick favorites?
Nope, sorry.
I'm so heartbroken.
Oh, and a caveat, we should say that you have to have been active during the clean-a-thon.
Yeah.
In other words, you have to actually be doing stuff. You can't just be signed up for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Julie, did you have any other information you wanted to go over, or?
I don't. There's lots of chatter going on out here. People are trying to become your favorites, even though it's not going to work.
I love blueberry pie. I don't know if everybody knows that.
If there's anyone who doesn't know that, they need to be on WikiTree more clearly, because I think everybody knows that.
Blueberry pie, blueberry pie. I'll take blueberry pie. You could send me a Toblerone or two, and I might be able to swing something for you. We'll talk about it.
We don't have to worry about Charlotte winning this year. Wasn't she one of the winners last year? Charlotte,
she was number 2.
Lucy Lavelle. Who won?
Oh, that's great. Well, that was for the Sourceathon though. But Charlotte has to go to a wedding, so she's going to be here till.
So I'm going to answer a couple questions. One is to Marty, and yes, I will accept bribes, but you cannot give bribes to Mags, only to me. I'm just saying.
And then I'm going to
bribe if you tell me first. So
I'm going to mute Eowyn, and you won't be able to hear that.
And then Emma asked if there's a schedule for Hangouts. Huh?
What?
Somebody said something about a schedule.
Oh, I think Emma wanted to know if there was a schedule for the Hangouts yet, and there is, but I haven't made all the Hangouts yet. If you go to the Spring Clean-a-thon page, there's a link for the Hangouts under the section called Hangouts, and that'll take you to the schedule. It's basically midnight Eastern Daylight Time, and then every 4 hours after that. So midnight Eastern, 4 o'clock in the morning Eastern, 8 in the morning Eastern. It's like 2 in the morning for me, but it's all good. It's all for WikiTree.
And just in time for you to be finished with your whole conversation, here is the page with the link to the Hangouts.
Yeah.
And you also get a clean-a-thon, a spiffy doodle clean-a-thon badge when you register.
It's a really cool badge.
It is a cool badge. Almost as cool as the graphic. I just love that graphic.
I know. It's so happy and fun.
It is. All right. So we have nothing else to cover about the Rangers project.
Oh.
Eowyn, you raised your hand? Oh, my gosh. You're so polite.
I know. No, since I'm here, I just wanted to take a second to thank all of our WikiTreeers, because you guys are the ones who make WikiTree what it is, and you're the reason that WikiTree is an awesome community, and I absolutely love being your forest elf. I would not want to be doing anything else, and so thank you. That's
okay.
Thank you, Eowyn.
Thank you, Eowyn. Yeah.
No.
Thank you, Julie.
Me?
No, yes, you. Thank you, Julie.
Oh, you're welcome. I don't think anybody knows how many hours Eowyn, well, maybe you've guessed, but Eowyn is here all the time.
She's almost here almost as much as you, Julie.
She's got me beat.
I don't know if she does.
We're together quite a lot, I have to say.
I think that if we really got down to it, you would probably beat Eowyn in the amount of time that you spend on WikiTree.
Nah.
Yep. Eowyn, would you agree with that?
We're not going to fight it out, Max. You can go.
Eowyn, you're great. We appreciate it. We're glad that you're here with us today. So fun. Always fun to talk to you. Always fun to talk to Julie. And I'm looking forward to next week for the Clean-a-thon. And we're going to have a special 3 o'clock hangout live cast during the cleanathon at 3 o'clock. So we will be here it'll be Saturday, so we won't be too tired yet. But it will be all things cleanathon. We'll be talking about all the teams and about what's going on and where we're headed and how many more people have signed up and all of that great information on Saturday. And we'll certainly be talking about how many pieces of blueberry pie I receive and all of that good stuff. Thank you so much, Eowyn, for being here. I will look forward to seeing you next week. Same with you.
I won't be here next week, remember? I'm going to be gone.
No,
2 weeks.
This week you'll be here.
I'll be there.
Yes, you will
be. It's the cleanathon, Julie.
Yeah, it's the cleanathon. You're going to be here, Julie.
I've already jumped over it.
Julie's looking so forward to not being here on the 29th. Yeah, thank you so much, Julie, for being here, and everybody else. And let me get my ducks in a row, and we'll say goodbye. You guys, WikiTree on.
Bye.